following program is paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Tony Mart Presents music, food, fun, travel, and lots of good times. But the good times roll. I love springtime because it's the beginning of all the fun in the Jersey Shore summer. When I was a little boy, it meant fun, it meant action, it meant all those people were coming right through my living room downstairs. We lived over top of Tony Mart until I was in second grade. Today we have just that, cram full fun, all kinds of stuff going on. First of all, we have a world-class diva, absolutely one of the great blues rockers, roots rockers, Billboard charted, off-Broadway, movies, Dana Fuchs. And she will be performing at something I call Ladies' Night Doubleheader with one of our own groups. The group Red now has a tribute show, The Girls Can't Help It. And it turns out that I was able to get Dana, and so I put them both together. The Dana Fuchs Band at 7 o'clock, and The Girls Can't Help It, which are all the great players from the band Red. And, of course, that includes Patty Balbo in this great show called The Girls Can't Help It, a new tribute show you're going to be seeing around. And the way that goes down on the beach is on Friday the 12th, we have the world-class diva at 7 o'clock. And at 8:30, we have this hot new show, which is all about rock and roll, famous women in rock and roll. This is going to be a very popular show, and we'll probably be repeating it because people love the tributes. This one starts with a tribute to Grace Slick, Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, rolls through the 70s to the 80s with all of that new wave, Pat Benatar, The Pretenders, Joan Jett. Patty does a Joan Jett tune and kills it. And then the sounds of today, Lady Gaga and what's her name? Taylor Swift. Yeah, right. They're going to be, that's unusual for you to hear stuff that contemporary but on the beach, but you will hear it that night after you hear the magnificent Dana Fuchs. And we will interview the magnificent Dana Fuchs today on the radio show. She's a personal favorite of mine. I'm so pleased that she graces us with her presence, and we're going to really enjoy that. Ladies' Night Doubleheader. Mark that one down, especially if you want to hear any and all of what I just talked about, Friday the 12th of July. Also today, it's time for gumbo, Jersey gumbo, and that will be the 8th of July. Today, we have the great chef, Nico Karamanis from Galloway Casual Dining on the White Horse Pike. Nico has a Greek and Middle Eastern background, and it comes through in the rich and varying flavors of his cuisine. I like to say that in his restaurant, you can get what appears to be normal food, but the flavors of the sauces and the combinations of the spices and the herbs are really quite chaotic and quite exotic. And we look forward to the great chef Nico Karamanis competing He's got some new twists on gumbo this year for the party on July 8th, Monday, July 8th at the Point, Jersey Gumbo. And he'll be here today to talk about that as well as his own great food every day. I really can't wait to get back out there and eat again. I love eating there. Last year, he had this barbecue thing going on for $25. Nobody could eat it all. Everybody was taking these great bags of food home. That's a great place, especially if you're going by there on your way in or out of the shore, the Galloway Casual Dining establishment. And then it's back from Tuscany with our wine goddess, Julia Stacy Riley, and, of course, her sidekick, Mike Riley, who's become a dear friend of mine, and the MVP, the Rookie of the Year on the Beach Concert Committee. Mike Riley does a tremendous amount of work. You know, people like John LaRoe and Mike Riley, they are working a lot for us. And Michael is going to be here today. They've got 6 wines from Tuscany that Chet from Circle Liquor chose. Some of them super Tuscans, which means that they're Tuscan wines made with Tuscan grapes from the region of Tuscany, Toscana, best known, of course, for Florence. But we're going to be talking about a wine from San Gimignano. Remember that beautiful town there, the city of steeples on the side of a hill? I remember I saw there was a barrel there that had all of these cool-looking wines for like €5.99. I'm great place. Mike tells me the prices have gone up a bit since then. However, Mike and Julia will be here. We'll be talking about wines, and we'll be talking about the tremendous prices that Chet is going to be putting on these wines at the Circle Liquor Store, probably the best independent liquor store in the world, certainly the best in the state of New Jersey. And the most important thing, besides the fact that they have an incredible selection, 200 bourbons, excuse me, single barrel scotches, single barrel whiskeys, single malt scotches, excuse me. All of these wines we're always talking about. Besides all of that, exotic tequilas, incredible number of vodkas, and they have the hours, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. So it's really convenient. Early in the morning on your way as part of your errands, or late at night. You can go to dinner and stop at the Circle at 9:15, 9:20, and have the place to yourself, basically. Well, there may be a few strolling in there, but Circle Liquor Store, we're very proud to have them as not only the sponsor of this show, but the sponsor of the Tony Mart Beer Garden. We call it the Tony Mart Cares Cafe. That's the name of our 501c3. Last night, we were using some of those funds. It's a long winter for these guys, and we had everybody come and play at Josie Kelly's last night. It was a really good time, and we were handing out checks, and we generate that money through the good the charity of Circle Liquor Store, who helps us sponsor everything. And I do want to mention quickly before we get to our diva for today, the great Dana Fuchs. We have a show beginning on the beach this Friday, the 7th, the Jazz Society presenting the 18-piece Grammy-nominated new orchestra, big band, 18-piece jazz big band on the beach. It looks like the weather is going to be good, and it'll be a gorgeous night. 2 weeks from the 14th, we will have, for the first time, Bywater Call, which is a young band, very much made in the image and style of Tedeschi Trucks, with the female vocalist and guitar player central in the front, the big keyboard sound with the Hammond B3 and the horns. In my day, we would have called it Mad Dogs and Englishmen, but that's another story. Welcome to the show. Dana, we love you. We're so excited about having you back here. Thank you for calling and saying you want to be a part of it this year.
Always, Carmen. You know I love coming to my birth state and making music in that beautiful spot.
Yes, it is so beautiful, magical, and unique. And this year, we were number 2 in the country. Last year, we were number 1 in the country on the USA Today Readers Poll. But Vail, Colorado got number 1 this year. And last year, they didn't even place. We didn't even know that they were in the running. So we've been the top in the country for the last 2 years. And I'm sure that doesn't surprise you, having traveled so many places around the world and performed, and knowing what is such a magical ambiance to that little performance venue.
It truly is. It's literally one of my favorite of all of the places I've played outside in the world. It is a magical spot, and I don't think it's just because I'm biased, because it's where I was born, where my parents were from, but it is truly magical and peaceful. And
Your parents were from the Jersey Shore.
Yes. In fact, I still have their ashes, and I have been just waiting for my brothers to meet me someday, because they're all in the South, to spread their ashes at the Jersey Shore.
Where, Dana?
They spent a lot of time in, what is the name? It was really wrecked. I remember when Hurricane Sandy hit, both of my parents were devastated, because that's where they spent their honeymoon and where they always took my 3 oldest siblings. And I have photos of it. The name is escaping me, but I know a Ferris wheel went down into the water in that area from Sandy Hook. And I have tons of pictures of my 3 older siblings with my parents there. I was 2 when we moved to Florida, so I didn't get to go much, but...
I want to talk about Dana Fuchs. You know I'm one of your biggest fans. And, this thing, thank you again for allowing us to juxtapose you with a group that I already had engaged, a great local group. You're going to really enjoy seeing Patty Balbo perform. She's super talented. But when you said you were available on this night, I really wanted to have you, and we have such great support here that I was able to afford putting you into this. But, I really want you to be able to come and perform for the people, because we love you so much. Tell us what you're doing these days, because I want to refresh everybody. Everybody knows you were in Across the Universe. We flew back. I've had some medical problems. I had to fly back from Germany, and I was finally get all settled in, and I put on the TV, and the number 2 movie on the TV is Across the Universe. I'm like, oh God, finally I'm going to have some fun here. And of course, when you came out and started doing Why Don't We Can Do It in the Road, I was having fun, you're so great. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows you play Janis Joplin. I was really happy to hear that you're breaking the Billboard charts with a lot of these great recordings that you're doing. Bring us up to date and tell us about some of the things you've been doing in the last few years.
Sure. Well, I had a new album come out, and we've just finally, the pandemic, sort of slowed everything down, so I couldn't even get into the studio to record until that had passed. But I made a real rock album this time, classic soulful rock, but a little different than my previous albums, which leaned a little more towards soul. And we're still touring behind that until we get back in the studio to make a new album. But I feel like so much of our audience hasn't been able to experience this album live, and I've had a lot of fun the last, year and a half as things have really picked back up since the pandemic. We've, gone several times back to Europe, playing all over the East Coast when we can. And this summer I've got, you guys, I've got a big festival in Romania. In February, we just did a huge festival in Mumbai, India, which was quite an experience. So the same thing, now that the world is kind of back to normal, we're just trotting around on tour. I'm dragging my 2 kids with me when I can, and really loving the experience of being back out there again, and really doing a show that is going back to my real classic rock roots.
Right. Soulful roots rock.
Yes, exactly, Carmen.
And my dear, is it all originals? Are there any covers on it?
The new album is all originals. We did not do a cover this time, but I still throw, I like when I do a show for the audience. Like I just got a letter from some longtime fans they always come to see me when I come to you. And they made a request for some of my really old catalogs. So I don't really stick with set lists. I kind of see who's out there, and I let people call out songs, and my band just has to be ready to pull it out of the hat, if you will.
Right. Well, you and John Diamond think with the same brain up there on stage. That's a beautiful, beautiful relationship between a lead singer like you and her guitar player, accompanist. That's a magical thing in and of itself. But I will say to you, that we want to hear all of it, and we're very excited. I understand. Am I correct that this album did get some play and also got some notoriety on Billboard? Am I correct about that?
Absolutely, yeah. This album did really well with Billboard, with radio play. It really surprised me because, when we were making it, I was laughing. I was like, wow, is this too rock and roll? I had so much fun. I have to say it was probably the most fun I've had making an album. We were in the middle of snowy Detroit, right outside of Detroit, and snowy Michigan. And I flew in Thanksgiving weekend with a producer I hadn't met. We had phone calls. He had heard the demos, which were just my voice and John's acoustic guitar. And he said, I'm hearing a real Stonesy, soulful rock and roll record, which is exactly what our intent was. So I knew he got it. We had a blast making it. But at the time, I was like, I wonder how this is going to be received. And the responses, the reviews were just, they far exceeded my hopes and expectations.
Great. Well, it wouldn't exceed mine. I know how great you are, and I consider myself to be so lucky, and all of the people here in South Jersey that are listening to my show, please understand that I went through a lot to get to be able to put Dana and this other show together in the same night. So I call it, Dana, Ladies' Night Doubleheader, okay? Because Balbo is going to do the old Grace Slick and all of that, Pretenders and Joan Jett, and she kicks the hell out of it. And that's after you do your magic. You are as great as you are. I mean, all people have to do is just go on demand and get across the universe. You have to sit through some of that kind of, I don't know, what do I call it, cliche love story, 60s hippie stuff. But then you come out and your presence, you have a charisma that is, truly indescribable. And I'll never forget all my life the day we were done. You had one encore left, and you turned to me and you said, "This one's for you." And you did Helter Skelter, which was the big song at the end of that. And, we thank you for those moments. And we're thinking about the moments that are yet to come up there on that beach. You'll do a full 75-minute show. I want it that way, and we're going to do it that way, 7 to 8:15. And people who are listening to me, do not miss the opportunity to see this. You heard what she just said. She's playing in Romania. Where else did you? Mumbai, India.
Yeah.
I mean, if that isn't exotic enough for you, why don't you try the Jersey Shore right here at Summers Point? So you always want to come back here. I guess part of it is that roots. Part of it is the family. My wife and some of the others are really good babysitters. How old are the kids?
Oh, wow. My oldest will be 8 in September, and my youngest just turned 4 in April.
Wow. Nancy.
And let me tell you, they are so excited for this trip. They remember the arcade at the hotel and playing in the water while I was on stage. Those are their best memories.
Oh, cool. That's great. Oh, my God. That's so beautiful. So you're feeling very comfortable. We love the soul rock. I mean, at Tony Mart's, you couldn't go an hour without hearing Sam and Dave or Wilson Pickett, Tax Record. And if you did, it was because you were listening to Alan Toussaint and Fats Domino.
That's right. One of the best compliments I ever got was being called a female Wilson Pickett.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. That's cool. Well,
I loved it. It was that made me smile, I have to say.
For people, especially the males out there, come and see someone who is a gritty. I mean, if you don't mind me calling you gritty, I know they say that about you because you have that voice, your delivery and your style. But, what makes you so great to me is that is overridden and tempered by the sensual aspect of your performance. I just don't think. And believe me, I'm not the only guy around. Last night I was with the photographer. You remember our photographer, John LaRoe? We all just shake our heads saying, "Oh man, we're gonna have Dana again." Wow.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait for you to come. I mean, I can wait because I know how much fun we're going to have. The week before you get there, no pressure now, John Cafferty is going to do the PBS special 42 years ago, Eddie and the Cruisers in Summers Point. Okay, so
wow.
We have a little bit of Jersey Shore rock and roll tradition, right?
I love it. Love it.
Dana, we're looking forward to it so much. Thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for calling and having your agent call me and say, "Carmen, I got a little time, and I'm glad we got together, and really look forward to it." Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you for all the support you give to all of us musicians. It's so appreciated.
And we appreciate you. And I'm hoping one of these days we'll get on a ship and you're on there with us so we can hang out for 7 days.
Come on, let's make it happen. I would love that.
All right. Somebody try and tell Roger Neighbor something. We'll see. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carmen. See you soon.
We'll see you on the 12th of July. Dana, do yourself a favor. Go see Across the Universe. Put it on demand. And, you got to go through it for a while. About 10, 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, this gorgeous, hot redhead comes out and starts singing. It's all Beatles music. And she starts singing, "Why Don't We Can Do It in the Road?" And she keeps singing Beatles music through the movie until Helter Skelter at the end. I don't know that we'll get to hear any of the Beatles. Probably it sounds like a lot of her original stuff, but it doesn't matter. She is so great. And so is my next guest in a culinary sense, a great young chef who is operating one of the most unique and high-quality value restaurants in South Jersey. You want great cuisine? You want attention to detail? You want a varied menu with something for everybody, including the kids at affordable prices? The Galloway Casual Dining Restaurant on the White Horse Pike in Galloway, New Jersey. Chef Nico Karamanis. Welcome to the show, Chef.
Hey, Carmen, thank you. Appreciate me being on here. How's everything going, brother?
It's really a pleasure to have you and to have people like you just heard. She is an amazing, amazing musical artist. And, of course, we'll have her for free on the beach on the 12th of July. I like to say about you that because that you came up in the family restaurant tradition and then went to school and learned the precise technical use and applications of the herbs and spices and the flavorings and such, that you make food that appears to be like normal food, but when people taste it, oh my God, they taste all of those exotic flavors. Case in point was your unique gumbo last year, and the gumbo took off. But talk to me about right now in your menu, last week, this week, next week. Give me some examples of what I'm talking about.
All right, so we're gonna start off with the bar right now, Carmen, because we got some nice summertime cocktails coming out. I got a new creation with a prickly pear Aperol spritzer. We're gonna rock that this year. It's gonna be something different, light, delicious.
That's so big. That's big. In Europe, you see it. In Europe, you see it everywhere, and now in the United States, you see it everywhere too.
Yeah, you're starting to see it. And I got some of my infusions going too. So I got my time simple syrups making, and I got some infused lemongrass gins going for some more stuff. I got some breakfast cocktails coming out this weekend. One is with peanut butter and jelly style. One's an almond joy. I have one that I actually use some bacon jam into it. It's a little bit of whiskey, orange juice, bacon jam. It's like a little breakfast in your mouth right there. We got Father's Day coming up, Carmen, and I'll tell you what, my Father's Day menu, I think it's pretty damn good, man. We got some veal going, we got some pulled pork going, we got our biscuits and gravy, we got a nice s'more waffle, some spicy Italian sausage hash, which I just bought a meat grinder pretty recently, so I'm making all the sausages from scratch. Come gumbo time.
Nico, what's the veal dish?
The veal one, it's going to be a pan-fried veal cutlet with some fresh mozzarella, spinach, poached eggs, a little bruschetta, and a balsamic glaze. This is something that, I did when I was up in North Jersey, and, it sold pretty well. It was something different, a little light, but you're still meaty for fathers. Wow. It's going to be tasty for you guys.
God. I love to hear that. It sounds, see what I'm talking about, everybody? He starts off and it sounds normal. Pan-fried veal cutlet, okay. And then he starts going off with the pancetta and the poached egg, and all of a sudden it sounds like Commander's Palace. I mean, this guy is a great young chef.
Carmen, I have a regular that likes to call us mad scientists here at Galloway. You know,
Right.
just because some of these creations that we got going. You know.
Tell us some more. Tell us some.
We got some
Please.
smoke. So I brought my smoker to work. Right, I got my smoker here at Galloway now. So we're doing some smoked chicken breast. We're gonna do like a bao bun breakfast with some smoked chicken breast. You know, we have our barbecue night back, which I remember you came in and indulged one time.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That's back and around, you know. So we got some more smoked items on that menu now. You know, we got our fish fries on Friday. You know, once in a while we'll do like some different variations of that beer batter too. I make a fresh beer batter usually with some Budweiser or Yingling, depending on what I have extra. But you know, we did a squid ink one with a saffron aioli the first time around when we were doing it.
Wow.
And man, did it look a little strange? Absolutely. Did it taste delicious? Absolutely. You know. But again, man, we just like to experiment. You know how it is. You've had my food. You know how fun we can get with
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, I know how great you can get with it, man, and it is just fantastic. These different concepts, and you enjoy doing it so much.
Carmen,
give me some
you know
more.
what makes it real easy? What makes it really easy is my staff. My staff in the kitchen, they're fantastic. They do a hell of a job for me, and it frees me up to be able to make these creations. You know, so I got some another option that I have coming up soon is a smoked pulled short rib panini with some pickled grapes. I got some pickled oranges on that trend menu that I got. We started a new item on that trend menu too. It's a quinoa beets, and it's like a chopsteak style with some pickled grape reduction, you know, for those vegans, vegetarians, gluten-frees. You know, we're still pumping out some new options for them, you know, every so often. So
I want to ask you a question, Nico.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. If I call you ahead of time and we make a reservation, because, you know, my group wants to come back out, I'm the reason that I haven't been out there because I haven't been well. I got ill when I was overseas in Europe. But I want to come out, and we will come out. And if I give you notice, will you smoke some of those short ribs of beef and leave a few on the bone for me?
Yeah, just like I did the last dinner for you. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Those are one of my favorite ones to do.
Oh, man, you're so great. You are so great. People, you need to understand that this kind of cuisine he's talking about, for $25, $30 per dinner, and that's multi-course dinner, right? I mean, you can't possibly eat it all. People take food home. Everybody takes food home, right, Nico? Your portion.
For the most part. Definitely for the most part. You know, we give a nice sized portion. We get a solid price. You know, one of my goals in life was to make the average Joe be able to eat like a king and queen. You know? Right.
Now, barbecue night is what night?
Every Wednesday. Wednesday night.
We start on the boardwalk Wednesday, the 26th of June. But I'm staying in Jersey in September and October, so we could become regulars. We used to bring Dottie out there from Mickey and Minnie's, Nancy's stepsister, Dottie Garbett, and Ronnie Garbett, her husband. They loved it. She's a great chef herself, and she loved it. Your hours, you're open every night except Sunday night, right?
Correct. We close at 3 o'clock on Sundays for mental and health for myself and the staff.
Right.
But every day, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., every Monday through Saturday.
Wow. And then breakfast and lunch till 3 p.m. on Sunday.
All day. You want breakfast, lunch, or dinner at 9 o'clock in the morning? We'll do it for you. Absolutely.
That's what I love. Because it's very simple. Because you're doing everything from scratch. You know everything that you're doing, and you're doing everything from scratch, and you're doing these wonderful exotic cocktails on top, and that's a very, very vogue, hip thing. People love, especially younger people, like the exotic cocktails along with their cuisine. Now, what are you featuring? You're doing the barbecue on Wednesdays. You're doing fish fries on Friday.
That's it.
And what is that about?
It. So that's just some freshly beer battered fish. I get a fresh fish every week just for it. It's something I started during Lent, and people just loved my beer batter so much and loved how we were putting out the dish. My boys do a hell of a job on putting it out. And,
right.
It was just something so tasty that everybody kept asking me, Nico, can you save it and keep doing it after Lent? Do it after Lent. So I said,
right.
You know what, let me give it a 2-week break, and then we bring it back, and now it's back, and it's going very well again. People tend to love the freshness of everything that's being made here.
Oh, yeah. This is one of those people right here. In my opinion, you are one of the most underrated restaurants in South Jersey. And you do a good business. It's not like you're not doing business. It's just for the quality and the value, they ought to be lined up down the pike for how great you are. And I mean that. And if those of you who know me and have been to my house and had my cooking and my pasta and my lasagna, my mother's baked ziti and everything else, I know what I'm talking about. And this is a great chef. You're going to make gumbo for us again, and I am grateful. You're going to make gumbo for us again.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
You had an exotic flavor in that gumbo that made it almost taste like smoky Middle Eastern gumbo. A lot of people commented on your flavor, and I think you were pretty close on the People's Choice up there. Tell us what your thoughts are about making Jersey gumbo from 3 to 6 p.m. on July 8th.
So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think we're going to keep a similar base with the seafood. Like I said, I got myself a meat grinder, so I'm going to do some of my own personal andouille sausage for it.
Cool.
I haven't really decided if I was going to go a similar route to what I did last year or if I was going to bring out some different styles of flavors for you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's very interesting that you're going to do your own house-made andouille and fresh seafood together. That's
yes.
In New Orleans, they would put the ground sassafras in there, which of course they call filet, and that would be like a neighborhood filet gumbo. I love it, man. Nico, we miss you so much. I should have been safe and sound with you on the White Horse Pike, eating that great food instead of suffering over in Europe. But I'm going to get back. I'm going to get strong, and I'm going to be hanging out in Galloway with the great chef Nico Karamanis. And let's see, this is a dark horse. He could win People's Choice. He could win Critics' number one and be the Jersey Gumbo Mardi Gras Chef King of 2024. And go and see him out there, because when you go out there, you're going to eat like a king, right? Right?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's the goal.
We'll have you back on the show. Man. We'll have you back on the show next month. We love you. Thank you, Chef.
I love you too, man. Thank you. Let the good times roll, Carmen, man.
Let the good times roll. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We love it.
Appreciate you.
All right, my next two guests have enjoyed the barbecue night and nights out there at Chef Nico's. Michael Riley and Julia Stacy Riley. You guys didn't know Nico was on. You didn't know Nico was on before you, did you?
No, but that was some night. We went there for when he got his barbecue machine working, and all the compliments went right around the table about how great everything was.
Yeah. Well, you see, I hooked us up. If we make reservations in advance, we'll get the short ribs of beef smoked on the bone. That's what I want. That's what I'm an on the bone guy, man, you know. So you had a beautiful time in Tuscany. We're going to talk about the wine. How about the food? Did you get one of them big boy Tuscan bistecca de Fiorentina, the steak done Florence style? I don't know if you had one or not.
You read my mind. I just made a note that we had the Florentine steak that I wanted to mention. That was my birthday dinner, and they did cool. It was an Italian steakhouse, and they did a beautiful job. It was a little bit difficult to order. We were trying to convert kilograms to ounces and trying to figure out how many steaks we needed to feed the people. But eventually we figured it all out, and they actually brought out a raw steak. It was huge, and showed it to us. And we're like, yeah, that's going to feed the crowd. And then they cooked it, and they prepared it beautifully, all sliced, with the bone standing up in the presentation, and the roasted potatoes in the middle. And it was probably the most delicious steak we ever ate.
Well, you know, I'm that ugly American that picks up that bone right out of the middle and starts eating it like a dog, okay?
Good for you.
That's my favorite part of the steak, is eating the steak bone. Sounds like you guys had a great time, and I'm really, really grateful to you for coming on. You know, the Circle Liquor Store is not just a great liquor store. It's a real cultural resource center because of the knowledge. Jordan has knowledge of the craft beers, the seltzers, the microbrews, the seasonal beers. He tells me he gets dozens every week. And right now, all of those summer ales are coming out. Chet has a very impressive knowledge. And, of course, so does the queen of the Circle Liquor Store, the fabulous Jeanette Gemza, whom we love very much. I cannot tell you what an honor and a privilege it is to have Circle Liquor Store as our sponsor. And we're going to have a special night on the boardwalk. And it just happens to be in the month of July, which, as you guys know by now, I celebrate the whole month, my birthday month, and I hope that I am in good enough shape to really be able to celebrate. But on the 17th in Atlantic City, we have the great Phantom Blues Band, and we're going to talk about a Bogle, high-end Bogle blended red wine called Phantom, which happens to be the name of one of the greatest bands on earth, the Phantom Blues Band. And I happen to have them coming with special guests. Guests? What? I mean, this is beyond belief that we have the Phantom Blues Band, the multi-soul blues BMA Blues Foundation Award winner, Curtis Salgado, and the phenomenal Heather Hardy on the funky blues fiddle. So the name of that show is Phantom Red Wine and Funky Phantom Blues. And we're dedicating that night to Circle Liquor. And, of course, on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, we will have the Phantom Red Wine, and we will have Phantom Red Sangria, and we will have the white wine, which is a Chardonnay. Now, you've had that Chardonnay, correct? It's really good, I understand.
Yeah, both the Phantom wines are great, the red and the white. And I think the Phantom pairing is so great because it's such a cool wine with such a great band.
Yeah.
The Phantom, you said, they're such a good wine and that one of their best wines. And it's got like a cult status, but it's not at those crazy prices. So it's a very affordable wine, and it's tastes terrific. It's really a very good wine.
Yeah. And I bet the sangria is going to be, Paulie and I are going to be making some sangria, plopping it up on the boardwalk. I can't wait. I can't. I'm so tired of being a patient. I can't wait to get back to living life and sharing with everybody.
Are you an impatient patient?
Oh, yeah. Last night was our first time with everybody, but these magical moments yet to come. This week, the 17th and 19th, with Phantom Blues Band. The week before is that show with Dana Fuchs and Patty Balbo. I mean, this is a free concert with one of the best new tribute bands and one of the world's great divas. That Soul Blues album, that sounds like something we can sink our teeth into, huh, Michael? What Dana was talking. Can't wait.
It's going to be interesting.
All right, tell me about some Tuscan wines there. Oh, wine goddess, speak.
So I guess since we started with Florentine steak, we should talk about what pairs really well with Florentine steak is a good Super Tuscan.
Yes.
So we drove up the coast from Rome, and we ran into what they call the Etruscan coast wine and olive trade. And you'll find all of the nice Super Tuscan wineries and beautiful olive groves. It was very scenic. And we were just marveling at the age and size of some of the olive trees. They were beautiful.
Because the Etruscans, for those who don't know it, the Etruscans were an ancient people that predated the Romans in that part of Italy. Go ahead, darling.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We ran into a lot of Etruscan history, both with the farming and also winemaking throughout the trip. That was something that kept popping up. So the history of it going back to pre-Roman, so we're talking, 500 BC time, was very interesting. The first place we stayed at was right on the beach along the Tyrrhenian Sea. And it was really, really beautiful. A little town called Bibona. And the wineries, there are several wineries around there that are part of the Bulgari wine region. It's like a sub-region. And they are specialized in Super Tuscans. The one that really made Super Tuscan famous is Sassicaia. And that's something you can find at Circle. And very interestingly, it's very expensive. And we checked out the Circle price, and I said, well, let me see when we go to Italy, if we're in Italy, if we can score some Sassicaia for under $200. Well, I have to tell you, it was more expensive in Italy. Chet's got a better price on Sassicaia.
Yeah. Why that is, we don't know, but we brought all our materials with us. We took pictures.
Yeah, I was so glad that I visited Chet before the trip because I did find that he's got some terrific prices on these Super Tuscans.
Now, is that one, excuse me, sweetheart, is that one of the bottles that you sent? Is that on the list? Yeah, you sent me a picture.
That I sent to you. No, I want to talk about Bozzella a little bit. That was a winery that we visited, and I like the story of the wine owners, that they were successful financiers in the United States, and who had originally, the husband had originally come from Italy. And when they got to about an early retirement age, say, they decided to take their fortune and follow their passion and create a winery in the Bulgari area. And they are the ones that planted all the vines around 1999 or 2000. So all the vines in that winery are just about that age. And they specialized in Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, and created a Super Tuscan of their own that is really quite delicious. And we found that Chet had several wines from the Bulgaria area. One of them was the Dario di Vajra. Clarice was the one that we tried, and he's got several more on the shelf that I'm very interested in trying. So we've got a good selection at Circle to follow up on our Super Tuscan experience.
And it is fun. We did it around the holidays, and we'll do it again. Even if you have to pay, $100, $150 for a bottle, if you get a few people together, and you each, there's 6 of you, and you share a couple of bottles, and then you get another 1 or 2 great wines for $20 or $30. It's a little bit of an expensive evening, but it's worth it if everybody is on board with it, and Chet gets you really great prices. I was in I forget where the hell I was, but they came out with the what is it? Timekeeper was the Dow wine. I guess it was in out west. Yeah, it was in Tucson, right? Is that what it was called? The Gatekeeper from Dow. Remember, y'all?
The one that we had with you was Soul of a Lion.
No, we had this one too, Ben, and the price was good. So, but anyway,
you talked about one of the less expensive ones. The Soul of the Lion was the premium. This was like $50-$60, and apparently this restaurant had a deal with Dow because they had it on the menu for $60, and I was like, I'll take a bottle of that, man. Oh my God, I was having so much fun that night. Took the Grizz out. Nancy, my wife, and Terry Vizzoni, my sister, are both born in April. And remember that night when we were having so much fun at that beautiful restaurant overlooking Tucson, La Contiga Latin Kitchen. Well, we only did one wine, and we're almost done. So you got to come back next week, you guys.
Come back.
We would love
to. We have a lot of wines. Just, I know you went all over Tuscany, and we got to talk about all the wines. What else? What are you recommending if we're going to go get a really nice red tonight? A Super Tuscan or a good Tuscan? What would you recommend they go over to Circle and get?
For the Super Tuscan, I really like the one that Chet recommended was Dario di Vajra, and that's the house, and the name of the wine is Clarice, and it'll say Bulgari right on the label. Okay,
so this is from that region along the Tyrrhenian Sea, where Tony Mart was born, by the way, on the Tyrrhenian Sea. And Clarice, the wine is Clarice, and it's from the Etruscan region along the west coast of Italy. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. And next week we will do, I promise everybody, we'll do more than one wine next week, right? We start talking. We love you guys. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank all my guests, the fantastic Dana Fuchs and Chef Nico Karamanis. Until we're all together again quite soon, remember to let the good times roll.
The preceding program was paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents.
America. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. To serve others in ways that promote human flourishing and create a ripple effect of transformation for generations to come. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.